My name's Chen. Welcome to the performance of A Floating World by KYLYN. This is the second to last event of the KYLYN AAPI Arts and Cultural Festival here in Ann Arbor. As always, I need to immediately, first and foremost, thank the AADL staff, the Ann Arbor District Library. KYLYN would not be possible without their partnership. And so I'd like to thank Jennifer, Elise, and Patrick. Patrick and Elise are in the booth. They're always the best, easiest to work with, so thank you to them. Thank you all for coming. The KYLYN, AAPI, it's the KYLYN Fest, I can't say that all the time. This is the third year, and this Floating World is the first performance in Michigan of this, but we'll have more performances as we go along, so keep an eye out for that. Next Wednesday is going to be a fabric workshop featuring Kim, right here, Kim DeBoer Jackson, and it's Joe Gakbo. And so if you're into these indigo fabrics and want to make things out of them, it's all free, and it's next Wednesday, and it's going to be awesome. There are and I'm going to use it, plethora of posters, of free KYLYN posters and stickers out there, so please take one because I got a lot of them. And there's also continued programming at Cluster Museum. The art exhibit is I Use Technology in Order to Hate It Properly, featuring local AAPI Michigan artists, including Juwon Park, who's in the front row right there. Come see his fantastic installation using Mac. I'm not going to go too far into that. We're going to start the performance in about 1 minute, and thank you again.
It starts at 7:30. No, 6:30. 6:30. Text them really fast. Okay. Oh, when the music starts. What? Okay. Is your mic on? Not yet. Yeah. It's on. Oh, it's on. The mic is on.
Turn your mics on.
What?
Yeah, the mic's on.
You can hear it. It's just me because I'm starting.
Get up here.
My first memory is my mother calling to me. Through layers of mist, I hear her voice, soft and gentle. Kaihua, dreamlike, floating, beckoning through the mist. Kaihua. My mother, as I remember her, is young and fair, newly arrived in this country, full of hope and ambition, her hair big and her eyes soft upon me. Not like today, when she simply shouts from upstairs, Kaihua! My father has passed too many years now, and I am still adrift, dreamlike, floating, wandering through life. Still angry about what happened in the hospital that day. I refuse to talk about my father in past tense, only recently allowing an occasional present perfect tense. My friend tells me that losing your father is a wound from which you never recover, which, oddly, makes me feel better. I was away from home for too long. I still see my father. He comes to visit me in my dreams. We don't do anything or talk about anything. He just shows up in the garden. We simply walk. We gladly float. He is with me in the world, and all is well. I still haven't figured out how to work the thermostat in my house. I have a full page of handwritten instructions taped on the wall under it, in my father's hand, his favorite pen slightly bleeding through the page. It's been there for 22 years, and I still haven't read it all the way through. My friend Ravi Shankar, the poet, not the Ravi Shankar the poet, invites me to a writing workshop this summer on an Italian island, all brightly colored pastel houses on a hill, and white sand beaches, and perfectly azure water. I've never been to Europe, so I long to go sit in the sunshine and eat salad and olives and pasta. But the auntie inside my head says, you know, you could just eat olives here. We have olives and salad here, and we invented noodles. I am floating. When I'm home, I swim every day in salt water. I don't like chlorine in public pools or algae in freshwater lakes. I only swim at 4 p.m. to stay out of direct sunlight because, well, you know. I don't like getting wet, but once I'm in, I swim and I swim and I swim. The splashing of the water in my ears is the only thing that silences all the scolding of my bosses, the crying of my children, the worries of the world. Then just as I hit my stride and the tension begins to fall away, my mother calls, "Kaihua! Chifanla!" And I am floating. Today, a random old Chinese grandma accosts me on a street corner and with the usual questions. How old are you? How many children do you have? How come you speak Chinese so well? By the time she gets to, what does your husband do? We are already old enough friends for me to tell her the truth and for her to respond amazingly. My husband left when I was 30. He had no education. And I have been very happy ever since. Have you remarried? Don't. Be happy instead. I learned to sew through osmosis. My mom and all my aunties and great aunties sew. So I never had a lesson, never had a class. And yet, after all these years of sitting by their sides, I know how to thread the sewing machine. I know how to sew a buttonhole. I know how to make ruffles and pleats. I know how to backstitch and zigzag. I know how to mend anything with an invisible stitch. As immigrants, my mom and aunties sew their own skirts, dresses, pants, shorts, nightgowns to save money. They knit and crochet and embroider too. They create unique beauty from something so simple as thread and yarn, while we, embarrassed, long for real store-bought clothes like all the other kids. Stitch by stitch, thread by thread, they create diamonds all around us, textured and rich. We are rich in beauty, rich with the cultures and stories and traditions they wrap around us, from the red thread on the pink bakery box to the protective threads around our wrists. We were never just ourselves here in America. We were always embedded in all they brought with them. When activists and advocates talk about radical love, leading with love, love as a transformative force, love as a revolutionary act, I have to confess, I do not really know what they mean. Love is a word I struggle to understand, even when the cute boys use it. Maybe I need a book or three to explain all about love. child of Asian immigrants here. Unlike the white parents we see on TV, our parents never say, "I love you." They never kiss us or hug us or ask us about our feelings. Instead, they feed us. They scold us. They make us study. They ask, "Have you eaten yet?" Their chopsticks place the best morsels onto our plates, and they keep refilling our bowls with rice. When we leave the house, at whatever age, they stuff our pockets and bags with leftovers and dumplings. Then they ask, "And why are you so fat?" My daughters always joke about their friend's grandma who stayed up late into the night with her Royal Dance cookie tin, mending all the rips and tears in their friends' very expensive designer jeans. At my mom's house, I show pictures of my little black dog and my daughter's little gray cats, and she grimaces. I don't like furry things. When she catches me rummaging through her fabric scrap drawer, she is perplexed. Why do dogs and cats need to wear clothes? Then she spends the next 3 days sewing 7 bow ties, 3 muumuus, and 2 superhero capes in bright Hawaiian prints for all our furry friends. She asks if my daughter needs more bow ties, and my daughter says, "No, my cats prefer to be naked." My mom reports this to me in Chinese with only the word naked in English, like it's a dirty word, like she's tattling on a naughty child. And then she laughs and laughs and laughs. "我家门前有小河，后面有山坡，山坡上面野花多，野花红是火。小河里有白鹅，白鹅戏绿波，戏了绿波，仰头唱情歌。"
Ushers us back from another dreadful day at school. We chant, we try. A, B, C, A, E, I, O, U. We are used to their visits, but letting it live is something else. Sis and I are starved. We rush home. At dawn, Amma paints each sheet from top to bottom, side to side. How it glistens with oil and devotion. Like a spell, she sprinkles sea salt in midair, repeat, cast, stack, paint, cast, stack. It survives beneath the harsh tides, multiplying, to nourish, to feed for 1,000 years and 1,000 more. I open the refrigerator, blanched spinach, braised tofu with gochugaru, cooked soybean sprouts topped with sliced green onions and toasted sesame seeds, stir-fried baby anchovies like candy, all stacked perfectly in their Tupperware. Sis scoops plump grains from the rice cooker into 2 small metal bowls. Steam like a veil, like a ghost hungry for her inheritance. Wrapping one square piece of kim over my rice with metal chopsticks, I take it in. We reach for the anchovies, leaving a trail of the sea on our lips, a proclamation of what our tongues might one day deny. We rush home. We rush home. We rush home to eat, not our remembrance, but our future. Sound of your name travels when your parents leave, and you spend rest of your days waiting for its arrival. I changed my name after college to Faith, doing all that I could do to protect my inner spirit from crushing. Faith had no other meaning, no anointment than the one I forced on it, making myself believe if I had a spiritual name, I would and could ascend from what I was, a petite frame young lady with black hair, a shy smile, quiet. I stayed quiet. I never did rise from what they saw in Faith. Head bowed, lowering my gaze, doing my job, answering to Faith, Faith, Faith. People say time heals all. Many moons rose, and even time didn't make it mine. Faith, faith, faith. Since my grandpa passed, I asked my dad what he missed the most about 할아버지. I knew past pain got in the way of what they could have been. But one thing for sure, I remember. My dad's eyes grew deep and wide, filled with waves, like it left here and met 할아버지 at the EC. 할아버지's booming voice ripples out. 상철아, 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 waking up the sea. His name is a song, a lullaby. Sound of your name travels when your parents leave, and you spend rest of your days waiting for its arrival. There is something, many things in this world I now want to protect. Across the room, my dad calls for me to run an errand as usual. 경이야. I hear it tender. and I know it's mine. Along the creek, I watch. A mother and daughter argue without words. Too much time has passed between them to return. Please be kind to me, I'm trying. To inherit what I choose. I turn to us. We walk the same path we always do. Talk the same talk. Like lines memorized. Silence fills the gap of what our lips won't touch. As we coat our throats with yuzu, remember sweetness. Please be kind to me. We must learn to live off of each other, you said. Please, be kind to me, I'm trying. Yet, I swim in your river of wounds, cries, history, laughter, and dreams. And for the first time, I don't drown. Somehow it is enough. Looking out on the sea, I know I do not stand alone. The longing and wonder are not just mine. I am not the first nor the last to look this way. The waters lap at my Lola's feet. The breeze is in my mother's hair. I hear the breaking waves gently crashing. The sky unbounded above us all. The sun warms our faces across time, horizon for forever. We look to some place we have not yet been, yet want to know. Whatever I am missing brings me here. Sa buhay ko'y labis ang hirap at pasakit ng pusong umiibig, mandiwala ng langit at naglumigaya. Hinango mo sa dusa, tanging ikaw sinta ang aking pag-asa. Dahil sa'yo nais kong mabuhay. Dahil sa'yo hanggang mamatay, dapat mong tanduin, wala nang ibang giliw. Puso ko'y tanungin, ikaw at ikaw rin. Dahil sa'yo ako'y lumigaya, pagmamahal ay alayan ka. Kung tunay man ako, ay alipinin mo ang lahat ng ito'y dahil sa
sa'yo. Kung tunay man ako, ay alipinin mo ang lahat sa buhay ko. Dahil sa'yo.
I can taste rain before it comes. The husk of gray, salt and memory gathering to spin in the air. We call this dream sky. When the firmament is so stunning, it reminds the oil paintings to bow. Blue tucked behind clouds, the storm-filled sky is now an ether of squid ink. Pluviophile. Ooh, I love the rain. Warm. Open all the windows and let Coltrane blow a love supreme. Torrents hoofing, tap dancing on the sills. And I ask the sky, why do I love the taste of rain? And my mama answers. She says, the day you were born, the doctor told me not to eat. So I cooked a steak, 2 eggs, and some good eating rice. There are things inside your bones that you just know. A song you hum but can't remember where you first heard it. Have you ever wondered why you know the taste of calamansi trees, but you've never eaten the fruit? She says, the day you were born, the doctor told me not to eat, because you'd stubbornly clung to my womb for 10 months. Umbilical cord, a rosary wrapped around your neck, and a knowing in me said, this girl cannot ride into this earth on starvation. The knowing said, this baby must be fortified in order to walk what is ahead of her. My mama said to me, Shrina, I talked to you through garlic and pepper so you would know that you have the right to exist. She said to me, we don't need recipes. Beneath the howl of grief, I am there. Find me in your veins. Good eating rice. You saute some garlic and bacon. Caramelize the onions into the fat until they're sticky, holding on to each other until the garlic is tender, not yet bitter. And fold the rice in. Adding the crumbled bacon, eat. Eat. Eat before you're ready while it's still just a little too hot. Teach your taste buds to be alive again. My tongue is your tongue, she said, in the floating world. When the earth is too dense, come. The floating world, where time cascades into collective knowing, a lucid dream wrapping you in fragments of memory. Whose laugh is that? Why does that smell so familiar, so good? The floating world is a slipstream of ancestral knowing for you to come gather what you need. Come and see for yourself. Take a deep breath and let your chair hold you. Take a deep breath. Breathe in the blessing of the ancestors. Exhale anything that disconnected you from them. Breathe in the blessing of the ancestors. Exhale anything that disconnected you from them. One more. Breathe in the blessing of the ancestors. Exhale anything that disconnected you from them. The light here is filtered ginger, disorienting. Take a moment to gather yourself and feel the orange air, the sunset of pineapple and hibiscus. Come with me through the floating world. Francis is levitating through the garden. A gather of ancestors glide to greet her, their praise hands full of ice cream. She is walking with her father. Here, all gravity is unwound. Francis's smile, ethereal. Her eyes so brilliantly hallelujah, the sun whistles in awe. And we float. For you, Kyung-hee, the sea has shaped itself into a poem. Ancestors whisper your name into the bank, and then the water loops in cursive in the air. The waves say, Kyung-hee, choose anything you want to inherit, and it is yours. The sea bundles its highest treasures to tuck into Kyung-hee's marrow. And we float. The highest mother in Kim's line has woven dandelion wishes into linen and stitched this gauze into a quilt for Kim, whose hands are always busy, a reminder that she brings the ethereal into form, a reminder that she can create and uncreate whatever and whenever she wants. And we float. Zozette Lola sings Dahil Sayo, and the clouds haze into a guitar. Air stretches itself into strings. Zozette's Lola kisses the top of her head as they stand together, faces upturned and sun-kissed, the sky as an open window to serenade. And we float. The wind flutes down the trees to join Sung Hung's Piri. Her contralto melody rises, shaping itself into the highest elevated ancestor, arms outstretched to float on Sung Hung's power. And we float. Jean is resplendent, electric, in a gathering of lightning. Her ancestors, firebolt, fire ripping, down striking across a midnight sky. Jean, they say, electricity is your birthright. Jean, they say, power is your natural state. Jean and her ancestral line travel the sky, striking together, and the thunder trails behind in worship. And we float. Kate is on the riverbank. Her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grand somebody says, scoop your hands into the clay, mold it into a portal, dance life into it, choose what will be on the other side. This ancestor celebrates what she herself has conjured when she whispered into her own clay. This ancestor celebrates what she has whispered into her own clay because she is looking at Kate, and Kate is even more brilliant than she ever imagined she would be. And we float. I see you. And I see you. In this place where time cascades, on this island of collective knowing, where everything you need is floating on the air around you. Reach for it and take what you need. Ask the floating world, what do I need to take with me? I love the smell of rain because I was born in a storm. The sky turned black and the whole room smelled like thunder. And there I was, screaming. Every time it rains, remember, we walk in two worlds. Every time it rains, remember, there is a floating world that nourishes you. Every time you taste rain, you are remembering your power. Every time you taste rain, you can touch this side whenever you want to. Come. Gather yourself and rain upon the earth. Be so unapologetically you that the earth must rise up to meet you.
Back. Where'd you go? Okay. Francis Kai Hua Wang, everyone. Chu Jia. Kyung Hee Kip. Zozak Gear. S. Jean Lee. Sung Hung Kip. Sharina Sharp Rodriguez. I'm Chen. Thank you all for coming. I guess we are Island, so thank you. We're going to have a Q&A now. If anybody has any questions, we're here for you. And I got the mic, so anybody have any questions? Preguntas. Anybody? Oh, I did, though. I did. But any question? Anne, question? Is there a question? I can't see. No? All right. Hey, there we go.
Love the piece. So curious, what was the original genesis? Did a single person come up with the idea, or how do you come up with the inspiration for what to work on next? Love to get insight into the creative process.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. The origins. Kim. You were hiding in the shadows. Kim DeBoer Jackson, come on up. What am I doing? What am I doing? Kim is responsible for the set design, the indigo stuff. And again, if you want to come next Wednesday, it's at 6:30. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to plug it. The origins of Floating World were originally a title that I wrote down about 7-8 years ago. And the idea of it being that there is this, this is going to sound a little hoo-hoo, but I actually believe it, is that there is this kind of collective ancestral consciousness that's out there that we tap into. And it's usually at times when we feel as removed from our own selves as possible, from our own consciousness. And it's ephemeral. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what's happening, but something deeper is happening. I'm not by any means a religious person, but I do know that there are things beyond imagination, that they're beyond human conception. And if you have in your life experienced something like that, the piece is for you. And I hope everyone does, because there's more than this. I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of, there's something, I don't know, but there's something. Yeah.
Have I been here before? What was that? Or if you smell something that strikes a chord in your brain that's super familiar, that seems very ancient, but that hits you. Or like for me, when I saw a dance company do a particular move that I find myself doing all the time, and I think, oh, there's something to do with this genetic passing down that I might not be able to identify, but it's in there somewhere. So it's kind of those feelings. And then in terms of the process, people jump in, but there's an idea, often it's from Chen, this concept, this title, this fun word, this mood and this feeling, and then he calls together the Island Avengers, and then we start noodling on it. And obviously we all have different specialties and backgrounds and training and histories, and as our identities as Asian American, and so we come at it in all these different perspectives and all these different disciplines, and then we throw it out there, find a structure, we improv. We let the writers do their work, which inspires the movers, which inspires all building on top of each other. Any other more articulate way?
But I actually think and Sharina addresses this in her poem, that taste has a lot to do with it. That taste, I think, is it goes way deeper than we understand. And if you've ever eaten something, and like Jean was talking about, that familiarity to it and why you're familiar with it, and if you sit there and for just a split second wonder what's going on, something is going on. That I can tell you. What it is, I don't know. You know. Anything else? Any other questions? Is that enough for you? Yeah. Any other questions? Thoughts? If you move a muscle at this point, we're giving you the microphone. All right, Michelle.
I still don't know what island stands for or what KYLYN stands for, so I would love to know.
Oh, KYLYN is a. I'll start with KYLYN. The KYLYN festival started from when I see a lot of Asian or Asian American festivals, they usually emphasize more the Asianness of it. So you'll have things like Phoenix Festival or Dumpling Festival. You know, there's nothing wrong with dumplings. I love to eat. That's obvious. But the search is to create something new, to really embrace the Americanness of it, so the Asian Americanness of it. So there is a period of time of Japanese pop music, this in the late 70s, when you had this very wide open approach to music making. And there was an album by this musician, Kazumi Watanabe, called KYLYN. And I just love one, consonants. And I love, two, that it's memorable. And three, it's a pretty good album. And that was just a word that always stuck out to me. And there was between that and another term, which it comes from that same period, which is Neo-Geo, which means new geographies. And I always like the idea of creating new geographies, of that in your mind you can have like African drums next to Chinese instruments. You could do it you can conceptualize anything, but it's kind of the intentionality behind the execution that guides what it is. The only issue with that is that Neo Geo was a very famous video game console in the 90s. And so if you call the Neo Geo Festival, people are going to be showing up wanting to play Mortal Kombat 2. And as much as I love Raiden, you can't do it. Island is, back in 2018, the initial formation of it is the two words of is land. It's talking, it was originally from the origins of the immigrant experience, that it's going land to land. And that for so many of us here who are second generation and beyond, that our conception of that actual immigrant's journey is short, and it just seems like, oh, it's a plane ride, or it's a short little thing, but it's actually this incredibly wide chasm that separates, countries and cultures, and it's the ability of us as Asian Americans to be between two worlds to traverse that. So Island is very much exploring the relationship between home and ancestral home, right? And are like your being and then your ancestral beings and what connects you to those. And then also very much what connects us to you all and then beyond. And it looks cool with the slash in the middle because this is very true of things is that I always believe that, you know, in culture, people are always looking for the deep meaning of things, right? They're always searching for what is it about? What does it mean? What can I do with it? But I really believe that there's a lot of beauty in the shallow, on the surface. And for you to get to the deep, you have to go through the surface. So it's really depth through surface. And so aesthetics and everything, that's what drives for me the, the whole concept of having an arts and cultural festival or coming together as a group is depth through surface. It's not the other way around. Because it's actually a lot harder to do it that way. Yeah, that's about it. Yes, Kim. Yeah.
I would just emphasize that Asian Americanness of the group. In both KYLYN and ILYN, the Asian Americanness of the experience, I think especially here in the Midwest, where we as a diaspora, like Francis always says, we as a diaspora all have to get along if we want to fill a room. We can't just be the Koreans and the Chinese and the Japanese. Like we have found, I think, especially because we're in the Midwest and we have so few of us, we have found where we have a shared Asian American experience, and that feels like really special across both KYLYN and ILYN.
I personally spent time on both coasts, and most recently in California, Northern California, where Asianness was everywhere. But I've only now started to feel my Asianness here in Michigan with these people. And I grew up in Oklahoma. That was a whole other experience. And so all of us are coming from different places and different generations. Some are immigrants themselves. Some are multiple generations here in the US. Some have more tenuous contact with their history and are exploring that, and are different phases of exploring what their Asian Americanness is. But I think this place and time and with these people is a special way to explore that, and for me personally it has been. So
I will
got a
just
question.
oh, there's a
Oh, yeah.
question.
No,
Okay.
but Shrita, go ahead.
Well, I will just add that, you know, to the question about, you know, the genesis of everything and where it comes from. The thing that I love the most is that what's at the root of everything is gathering. And it is that art is not something that we do, art is something that we live. And so as we're talking about ancestral memory and those things, these are the people who have stood with me as I mourn my mother. Or, you know, we show up for each other in these ways where the art is not art, it's life. And then it just becomes something that we can do and talk about.
Hello. Thank you for the performance. I wanted to ask about how textiles helped you tell your story. I know you mentioned about the beautiful indigo set behind you already, but I also was curious about the long green fabric that we saw, the white piece that both of you wore, and even Kate and Jean, what you're both wearing right now.
The dual robe is my own experience with ancestry. It started as I am adopted and felt no connection to my Asian ancestry. And growing up in the middle of Michigan, felt very isolated, even amongst my family, who are great, but not Asian. So when I had a daughter was the first time I saw like a blood relative, and it seemed to open like, you know, if you look in a mirror and you arrange two mirrors and it makes like the infinite thing, it was like that. It was like the baby was born and this like infinite reflection through the past opened for me in looking at her towards the future. It's like, oh, look, here's someone who does something just like me. She's a lot like me. She doesn't want to hear it, but. And so it was like this connection that was my way into ancestry. So that robe was like the story of Aphrodite and Eros tying their tails together so they don't lose each other. They turn into fish to escape a monster and tie their tails together so they don't lose each other. And that's on display at the Cluster Museum, the corresponding show to this to KYLYN. And then the other fabrics, I think we have like a series of props we bring out and we use because we do use a lot of the same themes. So that was when we were talking about portals through different ancestries. That's where those were sort of conceived of. And the big green cloth, do you want to speak? Big Mama?
Yeah, Big Mama. We call it Big Mama. She's Big Mama. And it's made a presence in multiple island pieces. I don't even know the origins, it predates me, but it's a special fabric because it's birthed a lot of creativity in different aspects, and it's so versatile, and the largeness of it that it takes and gives and and we've used it in multiple different ways as well, and so it kind of has become our mascot in a funny way, but and there always seems to fit in this. It's like a thorough line thread that carries through multiple pieces. So I don't know how else to talk about it.
Yeah, like you're saying, different things. Sometimes background, sometimes, you know,
Floor, yeah.
floor, landscape.
Yeah.
We're kind of modular.
And it changes depending on the spaces that we're in too, and sometimes that helps to have these pieces to create space or create boundaries when there aren't chairs like this. So, yeah.
As far as what Jean and I are wearing, it's comfortable.
It's in our closet.
Super comfortable. I also think that our dynamic is a tangible representation of passing down to one another. I think through the floating world, thinking of our ancestors who came before us, and then thinking of the words from the poems, we're leaning into this dynamic of information, of passing down traditions, information through this ambiguous like dance that happened, and the clothing felt aligned with that. I mean, it's quite similar in palette, and it's similar in like
weight and yeah, and mobility.
Yeah, like it was. I think it was important for us to look similar in some ways. Jean and I move very differently,
Yeah,
but
and we're all different, and we kind of just said something in this palette, in this feel, with these concepts.
Right.
Bring what you think and you are comfortable in.
And every time we pull something from our closets, we find something that is a through line,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. Like we never really have to like source too far out. Like
and
we
and it's our closets, and so Kate wears what Kate, as a young person who lives in Chicago, would wear, and I'm a 47-year-old mom in Michigan, and so
and it's cool. And it's so
and there's
cool.
like a maternal child connection here, so it seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. You all are amazing and beautiful. And thank y'all. I have probably more thoughts than questions. It may end up formulating into a question. But kind of what I'm interested in is like this tension between the physical realm and the like ancestral realm, ethereal realm, but also the tension that comes in between like ancestral home and like physical place. So like, how did that drive you all? How did you find to communicate that through the movement, through the writing, through the music? Because we didn't forget about you, Chan. We won't forget about you. So, and like, because there's so many moving parts, like how do you make it so synergistic?
Oh, I could actually add something. Trust. A lot of it is trust. But take it, Sharina. You were about to say something.
I was going to say something very similar. I think we all have different physical ancestral homes. But what we are finding together is that there is this interconnected collective memory that we all seem to be able to tap into and share and understand with one another. And so Kyung-hee will say something and it will hit me and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's what my mom has been saying. Oh, and Jean will like sweep her arm in only the way that Jean can. And I understand like my grandmother in a different way. And so it's too limiting for home to be just a physical place. It's this energy. And I think for me, that becomes a really, really comforting thing, that home is an energy that you make with people. And that you find the people, like Chen said, that you trust. And to create anything is one of the most vulnerable places in the whole world to be. You know, to like make something and then show people and be like, it's terrifying, but it's not terrifying here. And it's not terrifying with you either, because we make things together every day. But there are these people that you can just look in their faces and know that they've got you and you understand each other and you can like bring forth what's inside of you, which is your grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother, and then it creates this collective quilt of energy.
One thing I'd like to point out is that this Sung Hong, this is her first time performing with us.
Yes!
And that literally the first time playing with us was about an hour ago. So we had a walkthrough and then it was go time, and that is it's easy when they're awesome, and Sung Hong's awesome, and there is amount of trust, but one thing I do have to add is there is also the trust in themselves that they can do it. And once someone knows they can do it, they just sit in there and it just becomes kind of this flow. And I like to think of it as an unfolding as opposed to like, it's not beats we're hitting. It's just kind of, it unfolds and flows for the audience. And it is really based. It's very much what Sharina, I think, is talking about is community and trust. Mm-hmm. Trust in the community, whatever you want to make it. It's, yeah.
I want to add.
Oh, you got it, Mike.
Yes, Sean. So, yeah, this was basically my first time playing together with them and then maybe seeing them in person for the first time. However, what I felt was Pan-Asian identity. So as someone who actually grew up in Korea and then who is still a South Korean citizen, I have been here for 6 years now in Ann Arbor, but like in Ann Arbor, Shen has been the one who's putting everything work together so that I can, feature my work in different ways. And it has been I was actually listening to Francesca's poem earlier, and then she was talking about this noodle and then how Asian mother can tell them like they will feed you all the time, but they will tell you, oh, why are you trying to be fat? That's like one of the first thing that I heard from my mom when I come back to Korea. And then, why are you? But mom, you have been feeding me so much. So in that sense, I was able to really relate to my own personal story to Francesca, even though I'm Korean and Francesca grew up in Chinese family holder. So yes. I'm sorry, I'm missing that pronunciation.
She's Francesca now,
yes,
forever. If you knew her before, doesn't matter.
So yeah, I would say this like kind of Pan-Asian identity has been really opening my mind to work with people and then really collaborate with awesome people here. And I'm very flattered by Shen's kind of introduction. Thanks.
Oh, yes. Hey, Christina. Yeah.
I have a question for Zozette. I would love to know more about the song that you sang with Sharina and the significance of it.
Okay. Thank you for that question. That song is a Tagalog song. It was from the 70s. It's a Filipino love song, one of our most popular ones, and it's called Dahil Sa'yo. And the English translation of the title is Because of You. And I chose that song, one, because I learned it just growing up. It's just, I think we all have songs perhaps in our family that they're like gifts to us. They're kind of like heirlooms, and that I feel like that is one. Also, I just felt like when I sing, I don't actually speak any Tagalog. I only speak English. I'm Filipino American. But my closest contact with like my culture really is, well, food for one, being Filipino, but also through music. even though I don't know word for word what I'm saying, it's like I feel like I'm able to express more of myself through singing Tagalog. There's something about it that allows me to be very earnest and to express kind of a lot of, more genuinely, perhaps the longing that I feel. And I think people get that even though they don't know what the words mean. Because I don't even know what all the words mean. If you ask me, like, what is that word in verse 2 mean? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm gonna sing it, So, and I just felt like this is something that connected me to my, to the women in my life, the ones that I mentioned in my poem. So I hope that's enough context. Yeah, it's just something that I wanted to share and felt like I could express myself more fully through.
It was beautiful.
And that's the last question. Thank you all for coming. Please come out for Kim's event next Wednesday in the Cluster Beyond. Thank you again.